So, something huge is happening down in Australia. They're about to kick off this massive experiment in online safety. And honestly, it could completely change how a whole generation uses the internet. We're talking about a new law that's making headlines all over the globe. And today, we're going to break down exactly what this all means.
Yeah, and let's be clear, this isn't just some new guideline or a gentle suggestion. Nope. Australia has officially become the first country in the world to pass a law like this. This sets a huge precedent for how we regulate the internet, and you can bet that other countries are watching very, very closely. So, at the very heart of this groundbreaking law is one simple number: 16. That's right, Australia is officially banning social media for anyone under the age of 16. It's a really clear, hard line in the sand. No gray areas here.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. What does this historic ban actually say? I mean, the law itself is technically an update to an existing act, but believe me, the details are what make this whole thing so revolutionary.
The core idea is pretty straightforward. Starting December 10th, 2025, it will be flat out illegal for social media companies to allow anyone under 16 to create an account, or even keep the one they already have. And here's the kicker: this isn't about getting a parent's permission. It's a direct, outright ban.
Now, a move this big, well, it doesn't just happen overnight, right? It brings up all these questions about freedom versus protection, so the big question is, why? Why did the Australian government feel this was so necessary? What problem are they actually trying to fix here?
Well, the government has been pretty clear about it. They've pinpointed 4 key areas of harm they're going after. You've got the obvious stuff, right? Like protecting kids from cyberbullying and seeing content they shouldn't. But they're also trying to tackle the trickier stuff, the negative hits to mental health, and this is a big one: those super addictive algorithms designed to just keep you scrolling.
Okay, but a law is only as good as its enforcement, right? I mean, let's be real, kids have been fibbing about their age online since the internet was invented. So how is Australia actually going to pull this off? Well, their whole strategy hinges on putting all the pressure in one specific place.
So, whose job is it to enforce this? Is it up to parents, the schools, the kids? You might be surprised by how direct Australia's answer is.
It's all on the social media companies, period. The law says the entire burden, 100% of it, is on them. It's now their legal responsibility to build the system and to police it, to make sure kids under 16 can't get on.
And this is where things get complicated. The law says companies have to take what they call reasonable steps to check a user's age. It starts simply, asking for your date of birth, but it could get much more intense with things like selfie scans or even asking for official ID. And yeah, that definitely raises a whole bunch of questions about privacy and where all that data is going.
You can imagine, that sounds like a huge headache for these tech giants, both technically and logistically. So what's the incentive for them to actually do it right? What happens if a company messes up and a 14-year-old gets through?
Ooh, the consequences are serious. We're talking about a massive fine. The maximum penalty for messing up is a jaw-dropping 49.5 million Australian dollars. That's around 33 million US dollars. A fine that big isn't just a slap on the wrist. It's designed to make these companies completely change how they operate.
All right, so we've covered the what, the why, and the how, and it's all backed up by a huge financial threat. But with a law this big, the real question is about the impact. What is this actually going to look like for people in the real world?
And the scale here is just enormous. It's estimated that this ban is going to directly affect over 1 million kids in Australia who are already on these platforms. Just think about that. That's a massive chunk of an entire generation whose online life is about to become totally different from kids anywhere else in the world.
And we're not talking about some small niche apps here. The ban covers all the big ones. We're talking Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, X, Snapchat, you name it. Basically all the platforms that dominate a young person's digital world today.
But the impact goes way beyond Australia. This is a huge moment globally. Governments everywhere that are struggling with how to keep kids safe online are watching this experiment unfold. Australia's decision could literally become the blueprint, for better or for worse, that other countries decide to follow.
So, the law is passed. The date is set. Let's zoom out for a second. What's the big picture? What could this one law mean for the future of the internet, especially for young people all over the world?
Well, from the Australian government's point of view, this is a huge win. The Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, actually called it a proud day for Australia. He's framing this as a critical, decisive move to protect the country's kids from all the dangers lurking online.
And that really just leaves us with one final massive question. Is this the future? Are we heading towards a world where your access to the internet is completely different based on how old you are and where you live? Australia has fired the starting pistol on this whole experiment, and now the rest of the world is just waiting to see what happens